Hey, welcome everybody. We've got a real cool episode up ahead, but first let's just get in here, get introduced and grounded. I'm Kai, and this is
Dell. What's up, everyone? Our magical beings that are here present. Always grateful for you guys and grateful for the energy that we all bring. And very excited for what we're going to be diving into. A powerful, powerful conversation that I'm so excited to get into. But of course, before that, drop that intro.
Today, we've got an amazing episode with I consider this person to be superhuman. We're going to get into the story about where our guest Ethan has been on his journey. And also, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to Keegan, who's here with us. So glad that you're able to join us and to be here for this episode. We're here on a different day at a different time and for an amazing, amazing reason. So let's go ahead and get introduced to Ethan, who is just like, many of us on our spiritual journey, he was doing all of the things, the yoga, the serving his shamanic community and dancing and coaching and just all the things, and then something happened. And Ethan, I want to let you tell that story.
Thanks. Well, I was just crying now because I could feel your hearts, both of you, and it's just hard to describe. So I'm grateful. And this is so the story. I was living with the community in Hawaii, and my intuition told me to fly. It's like the same intuition that I feel led us together. Like I feel there's an energy. I know it's kind of like a new agey thing to say, but how did we actually even meet in the first place? I feel like there's an energy that kind of brought us together. This has been my experience the past 16 months. So I don't necessarily feel strong. I kind of feel lucky that through this experience, like there's an energy that won't let me give up, that's bringing all these synchronicities, that is bringing this magic. So it's kind of cool that your show is called Our Daily Magic. And for me, it's like every day, it's easy to say surrender or like death, rebirth once, but every day, all day for over 16 months, it's been a good practice. I'll answer your question, sorry. I was living in Hawaii. My intuition told me to fly to New York, save up some money. And then more importantly, I felt like there was a deeper purpose that I wanted to, like there's something more that I wanted to have more clarity on who I am and my purpose, and then go back to Hawaii to continue studies with my shaman. And on the flight, I had a minor stroke, which was almost a major stroke. The left side of my body was nearly paralyzed. And then went to the ER after I got out of the plane and discovered I had stage 4 brain cancer. And I had no idea. I never got headaches. And I don't remember the last time I had a headache before that stroke, and would never get sick. But it was, I guess we can get into it later, but it's like all of these old patterns and fears and traumas and like escape patterns and crappy foods that I ate and all these things I instantly saw, like it all went in there. Like instantly I knew it. My parents were freaking out. Everyone I knew was like, oh my God, you're gonna die. Instantly I felt like, no, this is amazing. It's part of my soul's plan. And that could sound like spiritual bypassing, but that's the deep sense I got 16 months ago. And then I had brain surgery, radiation for like 7 weeks, chemo. Started to have grand mal seizures, intense pain every day. A head infection formed, so I had a second head surgery. And then the infection came back even stronger. And most recently, I had a section of my skull cut out because the infection went into the skull. And then other very interesting things, like August 8th while I was in the apartment, there was an apartment fire. Got out just in time to stay alive, and no one else was hurt or affected in the apartment complex. So all these sorts of things have been happening, and but also blessings and like healing with family stuff. Like I'm the closest I've been with family that I've ever been. I've met so many beautiful people. A lot of suicidal people have actually reached out to me, and even last night somebody reached out and we spoke. I think it was like 2 a.m, and like, I don't know, it just feels like there's so much out of my control. I'm just trying to show up, and it's hard to describe, but that's been part of my experience the past 16 months. Like I'm trying to heal myself, but also I want to assist others as best as I can, and it's very humbling.
You're getting some love here in the comments. I just want to get us present to it. Yuvalka says, we all meet for a reason and blessed to connect to kin spirits. I feel you, Ethan, with a heart connection, exclamation point, and totally understand when you said, this is awesome. This is my soul's plan. And by the way, Juju just spent 5 days in hospital. And, you know, we've been having a lot of the same conversations. So, you know, when we talk about kin spirits, like you're doing it all over the place. You know, really drawing in your quote unquote tribe, you know, as cliche as that word is, but you know, it's more like service is finding you. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to commend you because you're talking about how this only happened, you said 18 months ago?
Yeah. Oh, also, I wanted to mention, like, I feel like it was no accident. I feel like it was God's plan and my soul's plan for all this to happen during what's happening in the world. Like, it's just too many things aligning. So I feel like it's, yeah, I'm not trying to do it, but I feel like I have the opportunity to add positive energy to the world. I mean, all day long, like, for example, I woke up in intense pain again, and I asked myself, can I take 5 slow breaths? And before I get done with 5 breaths, can I get in the freezing cold shower? Because that's one of the things I'm doing to reduce inflammation. So it's like all day long, I'm doing these really painful practices, but they're leading to positive things for other people sometimes. So that makes my heart feel really good.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing them. One of the things that I thought was really like phenomenal is the way that you've taken on your self-care. You know, I was checking out your website which is ethansangels.org. And you know, I had a peek at your you know, your regimen, you know, and the things that you do to support your regimen, you know, and your self-care. And it isn't something that I would typically think to see, you know, for a person who has brain cancer. You know, there's all of these like medicalized events, you know, that we think are typical to go on. But like the list of your treatments included, you know, like alkaline water and ozone and Rife machine. Like, can you tell us about some of the ways that you've been caring for yourself and how that has allowed you to be where you are right now on your journey?
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had access to these from the beginning, but I didn't. So I chose I needed the surgery to get the massive tumor out, but then I chose radiation and chemo, trusting I could recover after it. And luckily I did. But yeah, most recently after this head surgery, my neurosurgeon said there's nothing he can do. There's no cure possible. I don't know if he used that word, but he said there's nothing that can be done for my situation. And he gave me a list of hospice care options. And so that was it. And so I left the hospital and I'm staying with parents now. And I've just been on full on like life supportive modalities, life regenerating modalities. And so, yeah, like the alkaline water, I guess you could say most diseases are related to stress, dehydration, acidity, and inflammation. So I've been trying to like do both things at the same time, reduce all those things, and then also support the body support the immune system. I guess you could say I have no other option right now, which is kind of a cool thing because it's a good experiment to see if these actually work. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And the most recent MRI showed that the tumor has stopped growing. The neurosurgeon, when he saw that, it was as if I was speaking another language. Like he didn't understand, how is that possible? But he wasn't curious. Like I'd be curious if I was a doctor. I'd want to learn more and improve my healing practice. But he just said, well, whatever you're doing, keep it up. But this is going to be the cause of your death.
Wow.
I think we lost your audio, Ethan. Yeah. If you want to go out and come back in, feel free to do that so that we can hear you. Because this is really good stuff.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're going to let Ethan know that we lost his audio real quick. And then we're going to have him come back in.
Yeah, this is getting very, very good. And I was so eager. I was like, oh, I have a question I wanted to ask because I know it can resonate for so many people. I'm going to wait. It's like get your popcorn ready because that's a question. Get your universal popcorn. But it definitely can resonate for a lot of people out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And like he was saying, it's only 18 months ago. Like, it's not like this is like he's telling the story and it was 20 years ago and, he did all the things. Like, this is fresh. This is recent.
Yeah, he is the story right now. As he's telling the story, he is the story, which is monumental.
Yeah, he's writing it.
Yeah.
And Juju says, yes, Ethan, you have me in loving tears. Yes, I am feeling you on this journey. It says you left the doctor with these looks, like mind blown. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It does sound interesting though that the doctor wasn't even interested.
Yeah, but it's like a quick example of that is somebody's stone cold in their beliefs of feeling like this is the only way, and then something happens against their beliefs, and if they're really embedded into their beliefs, they're not going to want to believe something else. It's like, oh, it's just a rare commodity. Oh no, it's like luck, like they say. It's like it's a lucky type of thing. But this right here, and this is I'm excited when he comes back on to get deeper into this. It shows you what the term infinite possibilities are about, and Ethan is showcasing his own infinite possibility. Just want to make sure. Are you good to go?
No, yeah, Ethan? I'm so sorry. I muted. I don't know what's going on, but
frequencies, brother. It's totally fine. Okay. But I did have a question, as you were mentioning, with the doctor telling you a couple of things, try to give you the hospice solutions, and pretty much was trying to tell you what you should do, but you decided to do something different. What led you to deciding, like, no, this is not for me. I'm going to find something else, because I feel that there's a possibility for me to do something different. So what led you to potentially being able to do that instead of accepting what somebody who could be deemed as a master in the field or the master in that practice of telling you something, but not believing that and going with something different? So what led you to be able to make that shift to do something different?
That's a good question. Just honestly, my intuition, something inside, there's just a voice that said there's something different. I've run away from that voice for many, many years, but now if it speaks strongly like it did, I have to listen. I don't even have to know why or how, but I just had to follow it. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was this close. The reason I didn't go to hospice was because for most of them, I was too young or insurance wouldn't cover it. So I could have been hanging out with the elders. I'd probably be teaching them yoga or something, but I very well could have been there. And I feel like I feel lucky that I'm not.
And there's some great conversations that happen in that environment. Like when we get together with our elders, who've seen a lot. There's a lot of great conversations that we can have. And thank you for making that choice, Ethan. You see the impact, the ripple that choice is having on the community already. Uvelka is saying, to me, the doctor is uninterested because it's beyond human understanding, beyond what his hands can fix. And the doctor would then have to internally and secretly acknowledge a greater power at play in this healing.
Yeah. I also love what Ethan mentioned before of just accepting that he's on his own soul journey and bringing an awareness to that of being in his journey and also being of service for others. And now, like you mentioned, how powerfully your intuition is speaking to you and you're using intuition to guide you, especially during this times. And like for me personally, I don't listen to my intuition sometimes for little nudges or whatever, because I'm stubborn like that. And for you, with the magnitude of what you're going through, to be able to still listen to spirit and still be with spirit and still be led by spirit, it's remarkable. It's powerful. And you mentioned your practices. I did a little my curious cat looking at your stuff as well, with your amazing talking and things. But you mentioned this one, and there's like one of the questions I had already that I haven't even mentioned it yet. E3. Could you tell more about E3 for our audience and also for me? Because I would love to learn more about that.
Definitely. Thank you so much for asking. I just want to share one thing really quick. It's been humbling because imagine like literally about to have a seizure, and then I also want to document it on YouTube. So it's like, this is what it's been like 16 months at times. I haven't even been able to document things. And when I have, like right now, I can't type without extreme pain in this hand. So on the YouTube videos, most of them don't even have descriptions, is what I wanted to say. So I'm doing the best I can. And but yeah, the E3, I appreciate you asking that because, okay, so I was with my shaman in Hawaii, who I've been studying with him for maybe 6 or 8 years, most recently on the Big Island. And he had to travel, and he really trusts me. So he let me caretake his property while he was traveling. And in exchange, he gave me a few ceremonies, which if people don't have money, they don't have to pay because it's healing work, but he does need to pay his bills and stuff like that. So normally he charges a certain amount for ceremonies, and he offered me a few. And I said, well, his name is Om. I said, Om, you've helped me immensely. So why don't we just have one ceremony? And he was like, okay. So in that ceremony, it's just me and him. Normally it's a group experience, but it's just me and him. And at one point in the ceremony, I swear he fell asleep. I mean, he was laying down and I'm pretty sure he was sleeping. And then every, 5 minutes, he would just get up and start singing the prayers again, and he'd fall asleep. I was very confused. I was like, what am I supposed to do? I didn't ask him, but I just laid down and I thought, well, maybe he's teaching me something. So this went on for quite a while. And then at one point, I asked him, I said, I thought about having a new name, but I don't want to just give myself like a hippie name and think anything in my life has changed. And, I want to have a new name and kind of grow into it. And then he lay down again, and like it seemed like he fell asleep. And I said, okay, I'll wait, I'll be patient. And then eventually he got up and he said, E3, embodied, empowered, and ecstatic. That's your new name. I said, okay, that's kind of cool. And that was in July 2019. And I didn't really think too much of it. I just thought, okay, that's like a cool name. But eventually I started to make it an affirmation in my head. And then maybe 8 months ago, a friend suggested, you should start a YouTube channel. And then I did, and I started to share the E3 affirmation with people. And so now it's like, it's a personal practice, but I would love, like, one of the things I want to do with my life is help other people feel embodied, empowered, and ecstatic. It's not just about me and my name. Like, I feel like that's part of why I'm here. And it's kind of a cool story that I have all this pain and brain cancer. It's just a story, but I think it's a cool story to transform. And then, like, if I was already a multi-millionaire and had 1 million followers or something and perfect health, it would be a little different. So I'm grateful for this experience. So then I can help other people. So that's the E3 story.
That's so cool. And there's a major synchronicity here, by the way. Just by you telling your story, there's all of these like things that are coming up, like whether it's the people that are watching live, and thank y'all for being here. And also inside of me, you mentioned the word ecstatic. And I was watching this show last night called Angels in America. And on that show, there was an angel that came down to visit this guy he was pretty much on his deathbed. And the angel came to visit several times. And he said that the way that he knew that the angel was coming to visit was that he would get this feeling inside of him of ecstasy. And the angel explained that is the feeling that's available to us through the divine, and that it was just simply, the presence of the divine that brought that feeling through. So this ecstasy, this ecstatic, ability to just be in this state despite all of the circumstances, that's inspiring in itself.
I feel like, looking back, I really feel like the shaman knew what would happen, and he was kind of preparing me for it. That's might sound crazy, but I feel like that. And I'm trying to do my best to be human, and I've had to face death so many times. I've had to literally write a living will. I've had to face, do I want to check out? Do I not want to? I have opioids every day. Like, I'm trying to do everything with integrity, whether it's using THC. I could have every good reason to be on opioids all day, or even high all day on THC, but with everything, I'm trying to do things with integrity. And so even as far as when I feel the pain, I have some videos, I'm just on the floor in the bathroom crying, and that's my truth. And the next moment, my truth is that I can support somebody who's going through their own challenges. So it's like experiencing heaven and earth at the same time, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Total sense. And I wanted to piggyback off what you just said to just ask a question, because it's definitely a collective thing going on, and it's with the whole pandemic. And when the pandemic started and us being locked down, and also this collective unknown of what's going to happen, I personally feel like a lot of people had to get present to the fact of we could potentially die. Death comes, and it's something that we don't even know when it will happen. And with that thought about that fact, which is inevitable, we're gonna die, a lot of people have fear. A lot of people get worrisome about that. So for yourself, you just mentioned you have experienced that death side multiple times. How do you work through that? How do you show up for it? How are you able to be who you are right now with that multiple things you had to do to prepare for death?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, for one, I feel very lucky. I had countless hours of therapy and coaching and shamanic practices and obsessive compulsive yoga, and looking back, I feel like my soul was kind of preparing me for this, because I feel lucky. I'm definitely not perfect at all, but I'm lucky enough that I can maintain a certain level of calmness and centeredness in this very intense situation that a lot of people, if they were diagnosed and then had to change, it would be very hard. It would be hard for me too. So I had all these practices leading up to it. So yes, at those moments where I was in extreme pain, very close to death, in the ambulance going to the hospital, there was a moment of like, do I fight for my life as if my life depended on it? Call upon God, my angels, every resource possible, let not one other thought get in the way? Or is it my time? And maybe it would actually be ego to hold on, and maybe I just have to let go. And every single time, like, I know it's kind of cliche, but I would just be present and then listen to my intuition. And then it would just lead me to the next moment. So it's like all day long, I'm fighting for life and love and the dreams in my heart and that are still there. And also, facing, because even if I do everything perfectly, either I could die for something else, or the cancer could just grow rapidly. It is possible. So I'm trying to just answer your question. I don't know. It's just my practice. I feel like one thing that helped me was like believing that the energy of who I am and those dreams, whether it's in this form or the next form, I'm going to follow that energy. That's something that helped me a lot. So it's like no excuses. I'm going to follow that energy every day as best as I can, and let go of everything else.
Wow.
Thanks for hearing all that. I'm trying not to like talk too much here.
No. And me personally, I would love for you to continue, like just share, because every moment you're sharing, it's powerful and it's helping all of us to evolve with you. And we're here, and you have a powerful message that you're sharing, and just following what you say, your dream and what your soul is telling you, and not allowing other stuff to distract you from being on that path. And you have plenty of reasons to like be distracted from what you truly want for your what you want in a body, and it's powerful. And this helped me, or it's helping me, and I'm sure there's audience out there who may be going through something in their own life right now that they feel like they may not be able to go on their path or stay on their path or stay in alignment and embody their soul. But this story right here, it shows you what is possible by really staying on that path. This is powerful. This is fucking powerful, man.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I felt so many people are going through the same exact thing as me, just in their own way. Like, and I've often felt my situation is no worse than like a single mother with 3 children in lockdown, and like, so we're all going through something, like, and our souls are like, there's just, I feel like there's something really beautiful happening in people's hearts, and the mainstream media is kind of suppressing that reality, but I feel it. I feel this, like, maybe love's not the right word, or I don't know, but there's something beautiful happening in people's hearts, and I feel it. So I'm doing my best to follow it. And that's also why I want to support other people, because I know how hard it can be. And one thing that, like, even my website, it's pretty cool, but like I said, I haven't been able to do much, because at times looking at the screen this long would literally aggravate a seizure, or it'd be extremely painful. I have it's kind of a cool story. I have love to share, and I'm just trusting that the way will come. But so every day is really a practice in faith, because my mind is very strong. My heart is very strong, but there are these physical limitations. So at moments recently, especially last night, it was like, I just have to let go, and God, please help miracles happen. But then sometimes my mind is like, no, I have to take responsibility for my life. I have to listen to Jocko Willink and take extreme ownership. I have to listen to David Goggins and stay hard. So it's like, that's kind of what I'm going through. It's like I have to be the most humble I can imagine somebody being, and also the most strong at the same time. So that's kind of my experience.
Yeah. You just reminded me how we were able to meet, because I saw your powerful story in the David Goggins group. So the savage mentality, and it's definitely a great tool to use, that savage mentality, to like push through and to keep going and keep going, and using that in the spiritual standpoint, because I thought the same thing, like you mentioned, like the spiritual or with the savage thing, like keep going, don't be a punk, all this other stuff, yeah, like go through it. But then like the path that I've been on is more of a heart center space as well. And David Goggins, his story, he went through a lot of pain, like a lot of stuff that he had to mold himself to a point in which he was able to rise above the pain that he went through, to let the pain know, like, listen, you're here, pain, but I'm something more powerful and more above that. So that essence of Goggins, the essence of Goggins is what I embody, because no matter what in my life comes my way, I can rise above it and be something above it, but also with the understanding that it's God's purpose. It's a spiritual journey of what's happening. It's unfolding the way that it happens. And through these pains, there are beautiful, beautiful births and miracles that start to happen. And once again, just going back to Ethan and his story, man, like he's really embodying the spiritual savagery right now. Like, man.
Yeah. Can I tell you a funny story?
Yes.
Okay. So I was in the hospital after one of the head surgeries, like in extreme pain. I was asking for pain medication, and the nurses wouldn't bring it to me. And then they wouldn't bring it to me longer. And like, it was very bad pain. And I was talking, and then the nurse left, and I was documenting myself and just doing a vlog in the hospital, not waiting till I get out and everything's perfect, but like in real time documenting. And then she came in, and I forgot to turn off the camera right away. So then she told the security and then the nurse manager, and then they brought the, looked like a psych ward doctor and security. I was like, oh man, are they going to try to commit me? And then they were like, you cannot record. And then I was like, I don't trust you guys. Why is he here? And I instantly started recording, and I think the video is still up there. And I looked at the camera. I was like, I never had one thought of hurting myself or anyone else. I'm documenting this. I know they don't not want me to record, but I am just doing this to make things very clear. So just funny stuff like that has been happening, or at least funny for me. And like even the apartment fire, that was kind of comical. I was like, oh, instant letting go. And then I stayed at a friend's place for a few days, and he had to travel. So I was literally going from Airbnb to Airbnb while spending most of my money on intravenous vitamin C, taking Lyft there until I actually found another place to live before I had this recent head surgery. So all of these very crazy, like, that's why I feel like something beautiful is happening, because these intense things are happening, but every time there's a miracle and a blessing. So it's like wow. And that's why I want to, sometimes it's frustrating, which I have to just trust, but I want to share this with people and write about it, but I can't type now. The dictation programs kind of suck. So I'm just trusting that maybe my mind's plan will work out in even a better way than I can imagine. So this is like a daily practice for me every single day. I wish I could surrender just once and then things would be good, but it's like, yeah. And then things that are happening in the world too. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Thanks for hearing all that.
No problem. Thank you for sharing. And there's a lot of external pain and internal pain going on, and just different levels of it. And also, like, for you to be able to have fun while you're going through this, monumental. And you said a magical, like we call it magical bombs, when a magical nugget gets dropped, and I caught it, in which when you said when the fire happened, you just like, oh, okay, quick surrender to it. And what usually happens with a lot of people is when something happens, you carry it on past the moment of what just happened. So you're angry because this thing happened years ago or a day ago or whatever it may be, and you carry on that energy of resentment and anger, and you start to make a pretty much an avalanche of that. And for you, you're just surrendering quickly, like whoop, let it go, it just happened.
Yeah.
That's just so like how you're navigating and flowing through life. And I'm pretty sure like the miracle that you're seeking is happening now. And also you are the miracle.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, on a human level, it's hard, but you know, but I still feel like these dreams in my heart since I was a child to create beauty, to like help people, to be a part of this. I believe there is a new earth. The blueprint's here. It's just a matter of time before it comes into form. But I feel it strongly. Like I don't need to research, or I stopped watching like YouTube videos a while ago, just focusing on my path. Except your podcast, I'm gonna watch that. But yeah, I feel like there's this. It's like I didn't come this far to flake out, basically. So that's my truth, and yeah. So wow, it's like a mystery to me. It's a mystery.
I love. Let's get into that. We got some time.
Oh, cool.
The new
and
art.
I appreciate your your real questions. I've been on some podcasts, not to judge, but it's like, come on, let's just speak. And like they have and then they go back and edit, and they're like, it's all good. But you know, and also I appreciate that this is not a 20-minute podcast. We have some time, and so thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, you messaged me and you asked me like, can we make sure we have a lot of time? I'm like, yeah, man. I love interesting conversations in which we get to just connect and expand and talk about like consciousness, talk about the expansion, and talk about like the next level high density shit. And you mentioned New Earth. And my spiritual antenna was like, it caught that. So I want to hear from you. What do you feel is this new earth that's coming forth in this reality?
Well, I think we're seeing what's happening. Like people say, oh, I want to see the truth. Well, okay. Like I used to watch Alex Jones a lot, and maybe some of the stuff is crazy, but some of the stuff actually was true with the pedophilia and all that, you know? So it's like, I feel like now truth is coming out, and it's going to come out more and more, and some of it might be scary, but there are going to be like, for example, what I'm doing, the higher frequency healing modalities, more and more of that is going to be available. Cleaner water, like, I don't know, I just feel like conscious, like real leaders, like David Goggins is a leader, not by being elected by his example. So I feel like that's part of the new earth. All these living masters, I just have had visions of communities forming and networks of communication with these real masters with real knowledge and real love to offer, and people who actually give them positions of power because they use their power to serve, not to power over. So that's part of the new earth that I see. Definitely, I've spoken to a lot of shamans. They said that used to be where the plant medicines were very hard to access, almost like the plants, like you had to have a certain level of resonance with them. You still do, but now the plants are quite literally trying to help humanity, even though we've kind of destroyed a lot of them. The plant consciousness is something that they didn't talk about in the elections. What about the plants? How are they going to help humanity? They don't even, that's not on their wavelength. But I believe that the plants have a consciousness of the ayahuasca, the psilocybin, many other ones, in addition to the actual other types of plants. So that's something that I remind myself when sometimes I get hopeless. I'm like, no, the plants will help. They're coming into the consciousness and they can't be stopped. And so that's one part of the new earth, because I feel like originally, I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like cultures were more connected to the plants, and they had ceremonies, they had rituals, they had rites of passage for the children, you know, and they had they didn't put people who made mistakes in slave prisons. Like, they had ways of healing. And so I feel like all of these things are going to be part of the new earth. And I really believe it's happening right now in this moment. And that's why the darkness is freaking out. They know that their time is coming up, so they're throwing everything they can at us. One thing I've been trying to help people when I do the live streams is remind people that quite literally the news is trying to put images into people's minds because they know people who are in fear will project those images. So it's like the fearful people are doing the work for the dark forces for them. It's like, it's not funny, but you know, that I see that happening. So because I'm such in a vulnerable physically position, and I have a limited amount of energy, I'm not educating people about masks and COVID and all that. I have to focus on my own path personally, but I could kind of see what the darkness is doing. So what I try to help people remember is that it's almost like magic. We can project an image into the ethers, into the consciousness, like a scientist who discovers one thing on one side of the earth, and it becomes available to everyone, everywhere. We could do the same thing with our consciousness. We can. And it doesn't require everyone to do it. I think somebody said it just requires like a small percentage to open their hearts, and it will have a positive impact, like a virus. Yeah. So that's something that I see as part of the new earth, real magic from love, from our hearts as the foundation. But we have years of, the other stuff, the fear. So I feel like we are the warrior generation whose souls chose to be here, because we have to kind of deal with the previous generation's crap. And I guess I know I have to deal with my own crap and bring healing. If we wait for the young children, I don't think there's enough time. So what else do I see? There was one other thing. That's the main thing that I feel. And it's very real for me. And that's something that I want to be a part of, to be honest. I'm trying to be humble and like deal with the pain, because I don't know about you, but I know every past mistake and out of integrity thing and like crappy food choice and way I could have done better that could have led to my situation. So maybe I take it too far sometimes. Like sometimes I feel like, oh, I have to just deal with this pain because of it's my karma. But at the same time, like I'd like to get out of pain and heal. So I'm trying to like balance out that responsibility, but also I do feel like, okay, one last thing. See, I've done a lot of like inner work. I've had to do it recently because imagine being in so much pain. Either you want to heal it quickly or get out of it somehow. And one of my healers said, well, you're running away from the pain. It's already there and you can't make it go away. So you have to develop a better relationship. It's kind of a dysfunctional relationship, you could say. So I was like, okay. So one of the practices was going back to childhood and being that angel, like big brother for that person who couldn't control his addictions, who couldn't deal with his trauma that was stored. So I was just present with that person. And I did that in every situation I could think of. And then the next time I went back and I was just present with that person. And like I kept on getting the clear message, I wasn't supposed to change the timeline. Like, and that everything happened perfectly. Like that's the message I kept on getting. It was very strange because I wanted to change it in the past so this way the pain now would go away. And then it was kind of like a paradox. As I stopped resisting, then like the pain got a little bit less. And then I had another head surgery, but that's I don't know. That's something that I experienced that maybe for you and every listener here, like our souls prepared us. Now it's game time, and now it's like the I believe, because I've, like, especially with my shaman and other shamans I've talked to, and there's so many powerful, beautiful people in the world, so many. There's going to come a point where like there's going to be a rising up, and it's going to be beautiful and just in divine timing, and it's going to come from love, and that's what I feel. So enough about me.
This isn't about you.
Yeah, right.
And you've got some love and support really flowing in here on the comments. I'm going to read some of them for you. Chrissy Cipher stopped in. She said blessings and healing. She said, sorry that you didn't get your meds. And she says, Dell, to have Ethan get in touch with her because she's working with a 2-time breast cancer survivor who now runs an organization to help cancer patients get their bills paid. So let's have that connection happen.
Wow.
Yes.
It just shows a possibility of being in service and sharing your truth. These things happen. It's amazing. This is so cool.
That is amazing.
She had to go, but she's going to finish watching on the replay, and we'll definitely help you get in touch with her.
Yeah. I'll set up the introductory chat conversation for you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's been another beautiful practice of like, I think I have like $30,000 and like my functional medicine doctor and all these other bills, like he's let us paying off in installments. So it's like just trusting that, well, for one, trusting that it's all going to work out. But then also for me personally, like having the energy of prosperity and success and like empowerment now, not even to attract money per se, but like just I'm trying to maintain that energy as best as I can. So, but it's definitely been a practice. In the past, I've had a lot of money issues, self-worth, and just like wasting energy, at times wasting sexual energy. So it's like, it's been a lot of, and I'm grateful I healed those energies before this, to be honest. But at times it has brought up past energies of like, oh man, in my past I wasted money. I could have more money now. And now it's like, look what happened. And, but then I have to just forgive myself. And so, yeah, forgiveness has been a big part of this, like accountability, but also compassion. And yeah. And also with family, like, you know, my mom's helped me so much in my life, and like, you know, my dad too. And now to have to like be a child again and kind of receive support, that's very humbling. So, and then also if they, and also setting boundaries, because I am my own man right now, regardless of money or illness or anything. So I don't care if it's you guys or my mom or anyone, I try to be present with everyone just the same. And like, you could message my mom and ask her any question in the world. Like I try to, even if it's with the doctor or anyone. So like, wow, very good practices. And I'm praying something good can come out of this. But sometimes, to be honest, it's been like pain, enduring the pain, blessings, but then it's like more pain. So yeah, I guess just like in God's timing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It makes sense, because that's the perfect way of just bringing it on to the universal sandwich. It's God's timing. But you said enough, and I hope this is written down, like the time slot for what he just said, because he dropped a lot of other powerful magical nuggets in there as well. And the first one that comes to my mind is being present with everything, being present at all times. And I'm sure because you are dealing with pain, so you are being forced to be present in every moment, but being present to that and working through it and getting blessings. But this other thing that I caught while you were telling it, which is like profound, was how you were explaining how you were able to heal from other things that you went through. So I'm extremely confident that this could be the same. This could be another venture. This is a more powerful thing, but you have it within you to be able to heal from everything. And what's happening right now is this is the journey of you integrating such a powerful soul connected energy that is within you to not only help heal yourself, but you're on your journey, you're healing others as well.
Thanks. Yeah, last night, like, because sometimes things get overwhelming. I'm like, oh, there's a healer and coach I worked with for a while, and I had a session with her like a month ago. But I used to just call her a lot, like just, I guess I needed it, but it was just, I don't know, relying on it too much. Like, maybe a little bit victim mentality, you could say. So last night I had the thought of, oh, I should reach out to her. But then I was like, no, just take 5 breaths, get in the cold shower. It's all good. So it's like, these are the inner, like, sometimes I'm trying to be honest with myself. Like sometimes we could lie to ourselves. So even in those moments, like it felt good, to be honest, that I did that. And I was like, it's all good. Like, just chill out. The other day I was at the supermarket without seizure medication. I felt pre-seizure auras, like ringing in the ear, like a scary warmth down my arm before it goes into seizure. And I was like, all right, body, you've got this. And that's literally what I said to my body. I was like, all right, you've got this. And I was like, okay, that's all I can do. And I just let the body kind of just do its thing. And yeah, kind of like you said, the healing's possible. And so that's, yeah, I feel like, if I could sound a little bit ego, I feel like so many beautiful things can come from my life and for other people. And that's what I really want. Like, that's what my heart wants, and in many different forms. Like, in a sense, you're seeing me at, well, many ways, the most limited as far as what I could actually do with my body. So imagine if my body was more abled, so it is what it is, but that's the dream, that I can maintain these inner practices and this faith and these miracles that I've tapped into. And it's like, I feel like all these angels are around me, including you guys. And I want to keep all this as the body heals. Like, I want to stay humble and stay present. That's what I really, really want. That's if I only had one thing, that's the main thing I would want.
Yeah. Wow. I had a question for you. As you mentioned, you said with your body being more able, what does that look like for you?
Thanks. Well, here's a really quick story. In one ayahuasca ceremony, I saw myself belly dancing. And I was like, God, are you sure? I've never belly danced. What are you talking about, belly dance? And God was like, yep, belly dance. It's like, okay, whatever. So through a bunch of synchronicities, I met somebody at one of my shaman's retreats who lived in Dubai. At the end of the retreat, he's like, Ethan, I've seen you. And just because I did some healing sessions with people, he's like, I think you could help me. So he flew me to Dubai, and I did some work with him and helped him kind of just build positive momentum. And while I was in Dubai with him, he had to travel. So he's like, well, Ethan, you could stay at my home in India while I'm traveling. And then when I come back, you come back and we'll continue. So while in India, I remember that vision of belly dancing. And then I looked up on Google belly dance in Bangalore, and I found Payal's Dance Academy. And then I went there, and it was like from a movie. I said, because I felt that same energy when I saw Payal, the same exact energy as the ayahuasca ceremony. So I said, please, Guru, will you teach me? I know I'm a man, I'm 34 years old. I've never belly danced before. I'm from America, but please, will you teach me? I want to dance. She's like, yeah, I'll teach you. So I stayed there for around 10 months and got dengue fever twice and nearly died. So that was like part of the shamanic journey it wasn't just belly dance. I had to learn other things in India. But my point is that every few months I wake up crying because I miss Payal. I want to belly dance. I want to bring it to men, to women, to elderly. And I've tried to let go of it hundreds of times, like really let go and not think about it. But I feel like we all have parts of who we are that we can't change. Like, and I feel like dance is part of who I am. It's not just the belly, it's a system of dance. So that's something, when my body heals, I want to get back into that, because it's an amazing practice in so many ways. So that's just one of the many things that I want to do with my body.
Wow.
Yeah, so too many beautiful, crazy, awesome things that have happened for this to be just random. I feel like it would be such a cool story to be able to dance again, share it with people, teach, help women, help people. You know.
Could I suggest one thing real quick for you? Where you just said it would be. Say that again and just say it will be, and to see how it feels for you.
Thank you. It will feel amazing in every part of my being to be able to dance and to share dance with people. Now I have to just believe that. To be honest, I have to.
It's practice, bro. It's practice, but like for yourself, you're getting better every moment, and it's just tapping more into that. But there is a reality in which that is possible, and you can tune into that reality in which it's already done. We all have that accessibility, because to like pretty much explain, we all are this divine expression of God in his unique way, and our soul, we can connect to that to be able to work through it. But, and a lot of teachers say, what we speak, what we create. So we can tell the story of how what's been happening from this moment back, and we could keep on the story going of that thing, or start tapping into the infinite possibilities in the future of what we want to create. You want to belly dance again, and you will belly dance again. Just speak it more and create it, and your body energy, like he's like, I feel so amazing. Right there, you was embodying that reality. And by embodying and feeling something, it means that it's real. It's possible. You already are showing what's possible. You had a doctor flabbergasted because you tapped into a reality in which it was possible for you, and you embodied it. And you can continue to do that even more. I know this is probably definitely challenging right now, but you have the tools to be able to do it, because you're powerful as fuck.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Correction or refinement. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it's been like, because I've been trying to be super mindful to not bypass things. But then sometimes I feel like, well, when comes the point where it's here now. I'm creating a beautiful life, and I'm just using the past to, like, as, not fuel, but just like wisdom and experience. I still have to remind myself of that, because it's been 16 months of like death, letting go of the old relationships, old patterns, old energies, literally section of my skull cut out that they're not going to put back on. But it's like, I really want what you shared, like to speak that and to connect with that energy. And I guess it's a practice for me to trust that the old stuff will be just, I guess, integrated. Or does that make sense, what I'm trying to share?
Yeah, you are the integration. You are the integration right now. And it's just a practice of continuing that, but it's totally possible. If we speak something, we feel it, that means that one is true because it may have happened before, but also it's true because in this reality and this infinite space, it's already done. It's like now. All we have is now, and we keep living now over and over and over and over and over again. Like now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some more comments coming through too. Allison says, thank you for sharing your journey and all that it's bringing to the world. She says, your story is so similar to a dear friend of mine, Aaron Zahavi. I believe you both should connect. More connections happening here. Allison also says we need to get back to our tribal roots and community. And what you're saying earlier, she's relating to Joe Dispenza's teachings, and she just calls you a beautiful being.
Thanks. Yeah, somebody else recommended Joe Dispenza recently. So thanks. It's synchronicity.
Yeah. You haven't tried Joe Dispenza yet or listened to him yet?
Well, I did. Yeah, but not before, recently.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy what can happen, especially like Joe Dispenza meditations, like his retreats that he have. Just so many people together in a collective space of that unity consciousness and that energy, and like all these different like miracles and things start to happen in that space of being into that infinite space, but also just knowing that that's who we are. And I think he said like the heart coherence, like connecting to your heart and your mind and allowing the energy to flow up, and then things happen. Yeah, it's crazy what can happen when we get out the limited mind and go into the infinite mind, the infinite consciousness, because anything could be created. And for me, like the exercise I asked to myself, because I'm really starting to embody this I am presence within me. So when I get worried with something or start thinking about something, I ask myself, like, would the I am in me be upset over this thing? What would the I am in me think about this type of thing? And it's there's always like a simple answer. Like it just doesn't think about the thing. All it thinks about is creation, unconditional love, and being.
Yeah.
Awesome. This has been really eye-opening and also revealing, especially about, again, that you're in this right now, Ethan. This isn't the story of 20 years after, and all of the things that you did and all the things that happened. Like, you're writing your story right now. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that story with us.
Yeah, thanks for the support. One pattern that for many years I'd make YouTube videos and but then I'd feel like it's not good enough. I'm not good enough. I delete them. Same thing with books. I love writing. I think I'm a pretty good writer, but I always delete them. It was like that same sabotage pattern. So these past 16 months, it's actually felt amazing to not do that in this situation. So it's been, it's felt really good for my heart to just like you said, in real time, sharing, just being present. I've kind of been forced to, but at the same time, I'm choosing to also. Yeah.
Yeah, you're choosing to do what you're doing with what is happening to you. And there's people out there who have had what you did and they just gave up. They decided to go a different way. They decided to get depressed, more upset, get into a full-on victim mentality. And that's with a lot of stuff, a lot of pain that people experience in life. They go to the victim thing, they get depressed, they get upset. But you're choosing a higher way of dealing with this. You're choosing the way that God will respond to what's going on right now, which is amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And then also even as far as the money stuff, I've been trying to do what you just shared as far as first, well, for me, I would describe it as first coming to the energy of that I am. I think that's why Om gave me the I am affirmation. And it's all fun and games, but in those moments of intense pain, it's like, wow, okay, Om, I'll do the affirmation. And for me, I'm not faking it. It's like, really. So when I say I'm embodied, I'm empowered, I am ecstatic. It's not a fake smile or energy. It's real. Of course, the pain's still there, but it's been my practice. And so I really appreciate you reminding me about that and how real it is. Because sometimes in my, it's like I'm dependent on a lot of people right now. Can't just there are a lot of limitations. So I have to really connect with that space. Sometimes the pain, even with pain medication, it's like, it feels like a deep, dark hole, inescapable. So I just have to come into that space of like, I am space. And so, yeah, I really appreciate both of your support and your energy and your friendship now.
Yeah. And I just wanted to throw a potential possibility out there as well, because I know you said you're so dependent on so many people. What if those people that you're dependent on right now are those angels and also God that's here to serve you in this moment for where you're at right now?
That's a good point. Yeah, that feels really good.
Yeah.
Feels real.
Yeah.
And it's not like me trying to control things, about plan things out, but like in this moment, what is here? Like, that's real, that support is here.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah. That gave me goosebumps.
My final gratitude for you, Ethan, before we depart, is that, thank you for also demonstrating what it's like to be enough. All of those superhuman qualities, that you demonstrate and that you exhibit by managing your pain, by continuing to keep going, by, being by persevering and showing people what's possible. As Sadhguru says, not only are you superhuman, but you're showing people that being human is super. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any parting pieces of advice before we go?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is to keep on like connecting with your truth and putting those visions out into the universe, and just like, yeah, really beautiful things are going to happen.
Yeah, they're happening.
And I will be right here with you. I am fully committed. And so let's have fun.
I feel like chanting E3, E3, E3,
E3, E3.
And remember, we are all E3 deep down inside. And, yeah. Thank you. Really appreciate both of you. This is like a powerful coaching, healing party session. Oh, and also, if anyone who viewed this wants to reach out, if you have questions or just anything, I am very available. Because even if it's just one person who has been through something similar, who I might be able to assist, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
We'll hook you up with Chrissy. We'll hook you up with Allison, who's got that connection for you. And everyone, you can find Ethan at ethansangels.org for just being connected.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This was quite a magical episode. Again, all of the gratitude and appreciation and love. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening and showing your support and love in the comments. And
stay magical.
take care, everyone.